What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to be on Ragul's account here, and we will be doing an account takeover, account review for this account. Just going to give him some progression tips, going to give him some next steps, and just give him a general guideline to help push his account as far as he can. So he's level 61, so he's still relatively early in this game. I wouldn't even say he's a proper mid-game player right now. But he did notify me that he did spend a couple $1,000s into this account in the year or so that he's had the account. Now, he's not been completely active for the full year. He's let me know that. So let's jump in and check out some of his accounts. Here, like I said, he has, check out his badges, 2024. So he's had the account for about a year now, but he's only logged in, I believe, a day log, yes, 200 days, about 200 days. So not fully committed to raid, but he's just coming back pretty full steam ahead. And he just wanted, basically a full progress report on his account. So let's have a look around first and see what we're working with here. He's got only 300 mystery shards. That's not really a lot for anything. Can't really do any kind of training events or anything like that. He can't really do any champion chases outside of using the ancient shards here. We have 8 void shards and 1 sacred shard. So any kind of, summon event would be very difficult for him for like a fusion, for example. What else? For fragment summons, we got 1.5 turtles. We have Sursa. So like I said, he's a bit of a spender here. So he does have Sursa ready for 500 points if needed. And we do have a 1.5 Galapo. So basically 1 Galapo for a pull for a champion chase. He's halfway done Mikage-ish. No, actually he's only missing 1 champion for Mikage. So that's going to be a pretty big help once you get Mikage. Not really crazy on the resources here. He's got about 2k gems. 50 million silver is pretty decent considering he's only level 61. Let's check out his Great Hall here and check out his overall progress. I would say this is definitely underdeveloped. He really needs to focus on this just to build up some of the stats. Today is beginning of the week, so he is kind of active in Classic Arena, but not crazily so, maybe just average. But obviously this is a long-term area that you need to progress in. So make sure you keep up, your live arena battles every day. Do whatever you can, and then commit your medals along the way. Now, you also need to tie these medal upgrades with your Arbiter missions as well. So if you go into your Arbiter missions, there will be some missions here that require you to hit a certain threshold of Great Hall levels. So, for example, one of them will ask you to go to 7. One of them will have you go to 10, for example. So you definitely want to focus on 1 all the way to 10 first, perhaps. That is one viable strategy. Now, I don't really like the selection here for crit damage and resistance. Usually you don't focus on these because they're very specific. Only specific champions can really utilize these stats well. For example, crit damage, yes, it does benefit all champions because they do a bit more damage, but obviously it's most beneficial on your damage dealer. And resistance, not many champions will utilize this fully. What I mean by fully is basically have a total resistance that they can actually resist stuff in the game. Now, some of the most important stats in the beginning is usually accuracy. Accuracy is the one that allows you to land the debuffs, which is really important because if you bring in a champion and his only purpose is to land decreased defense, for example, or decreased attack, you want to make sure to have proper accuracy, and that's all that's important for that champion. So you need the accuracy stat. So usually accuracy is the default recommendation here. Crit damage for your damage dealer is fine. And resistance, not so much, but resistance can be quite useful if you have the proper build that utilizes enough resistance. After that, defense and HP and attack should be most likely last because it doesn't really benefit, it only benefits a select group of champions, mainly the attack-based damage dealers. So that's something to look out for the future. Well, let's check out the area bonuses for Live Arena. Definitely nothing there, so not expecting anything. In terms of Tavern, we got no brews. We got a good amount of chickens here. Yeah, this is a good amount of chickens. Probably purchased, to be honest. Skill books. We have books for 1 legendary champion. That's good to see. Let's hop over to the Forge. A little bit of materials here, not too much. Not much here. Any Forge passes that you picked up? No Forge passes. I'll be curious to see what you spent the money on, because usually the best value, some of the best value will be the Forge passes, because especially for an early game account, it does give you a lot of opportunity to get high level gear. And that's really important because getting good gear in this game takes a lot of time to get. So picking up a Forge Pass definitely speeds up that gear acquisition rate. So I highly recommend that. If you continue spending in this game, I highly recommend a Forge Pass just to give you a chance at some decent gear. But yeah, right now it just doesn't look like you have anything in the craft, in the Forge to be crafted. Let's check out your Soul Altar here. Anything cool? Nothing particular. Not super high blessings. We got 6-star Jeroboam there. In terms of overall resources, nope, basically nothing, which is expected. But yeah, so basically nothing. Just keep grinding these out, saving up. And yeah, let's check out the box here, see what we're working with. This is the most important part, I guess. Let's see here. So let's sort out by legendaries and mythicals. See what we're working with here. Alaz. So you picked up an Alaz. That's cool. He's a nice support damage dealer. Michelangelo, he's great. Alice is great. Leonardo is fantastic. This build for Leonardo is actually not too bad. Considering that, you're level 61. It's not too bad at all. So good on ya. A little piece of Slayer gear. So, one of the main champions here, but low blessings. That's a little bit of a bummer. And wow, that's it. Just no 60s on this account. That's interesting. No 60s. So Leonardo, we got Alice, we got masteries. Yeah, masteries. Got books. Okay, so Alice can be used. Okay. Mikey, books, masteries. Okay. A little bit on the slow side for Mikey, no accuracy. So this build is not going to be very useful. No damage either. Alaz, he does instinct gear. He is crit capped. Low stats overall. The Leonardo build is just superior to the Alaz build. See here. Masteries, you took War Master. I guess that's okay, I guess, in the beginning when you're still trying to tackle PvE content. That's fine. And then Helm Smasher here for Leo. Leo, you definitely want to take support. The big one is this Lasting Gifts because it gives you a chance to get extra turn on the Stone Skin from his passive. That's going to be a big one there. Definitely look up some showcases on Leonardo to find some proper masteries for him. And then you got Frony too. Okay, so Frony not being utilized here. No books, no masteries, so we're not going to count him. Xenomorph, I would imagine Xenomorph is going to get some pretty good playtime on this account. Like, there's just not a lot of stuff. There's not a lot of stuff here. What do you use? What do you use? What do you play with? What do you play with, sir? Let's see. By rank. So you literally play with 460s. I mean, I guess that's about right. But the fact that you spent money on the account and you didn't actually develop any champions makes me think that you basically just spent the money on shards. So here's a situation where you need to spend time developing the champions, right? You need to book them out. You need to master them. You need to make them 60s. I like Xenomorph for this account just because he does have the 5-star blessing. He can bring you a high frequency brimstone, and that's basically what you're looking for. You're looking for brimstone here because brimstone is going to give you a lot of damage against bosses. 60% chance to land a protected brimstone. That's going to be very, very strong. So I would definitely bring Xenomorph basically anywhere into the PvE. I would make him 60. You have masteries on him already. Book him out and then give him brimstone. You can give him a damage build, but you can also give him like a support-ish build because most of his damage is going to come from his poisons that he lands. So Xenomorph, definitely something to look up some builds on, check out some videos and all that, see how people use their Xenomorphs. I think Xenomorph is going to be really good for this account. Ezio, also very solid. We're going to get a 5-star for him, so make sure you pick up the 5-star blessing for him. I don't like going down masteries halfway. So if you're going to go masteries halfway, like make sure you commit all the way. So for example, like you could save the masteries from Ezio and then fully master Xenomorph, for example, instead of having two characters that are half mastered, master one instead. That's just kind of my general thinking. Ezio is pretty flexible too. You can give him ignore defense set. You can give him just attack is totally fine as well. Or you can just kind of use him as a support champion as well. But he can deal a bit of damage, so gearing him out in damage gear is fine. Although most of your champions are damage dealers, it seems. So you've been giving damage gear to a lot of your champions, which just thins out what you can actually make. So you have to start thinking about adding some support champions into your mix your team mixes. So I do see Geomancer here, like he's solid, and this build is fine. He's easy to build, right? Just needs accuracy, some survivability. You do have reflex on him, which is cool. That's going to give him more HP burns, of course. So that's going to be a good, good choice. And yeah, master fully booked, so that's good. You're not going to use incinerate on him. This is just a really bad blessing choice because incinerate only works in the arena. You can kind of see here arena and siege, so you don't want to use him in arena. In terms of overall blessing, really good candidate for cruelty. He has an A1 AoE, which reduces the defense of the enemies, so you definitely want to use this on him. Makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to do that for you right now. So I'm just going to assume that you don't have infinite resources, and I would prefer that you probably not spend that much more money in the game. So I'm going to guide you in the most efficient way possible. So I'm going to assume that you need to be a little bit stingy on what you want to level up next. So like I said, I would probably prefer to go Xenomorph to 60. It's going to help you out against some of the bosses because none of these other champions are really going to help you out against bosses. Obviously, Geomancer can, but Xenomorph's going to add that extra bit of damage. I would maybe hold off on everybody else. At this point, you're looking for a support champion. There you go. Armans will be excellent. As a 60, he doesn't have a blessing, unfortunately. It has no book. So this is going to be somebody that you want to build up eventually because Armans is really good at just handling any kind of wave content. So if you're trying to go through like Doom Tower hard, for example, because that's probably going to be one of the next places where you're going to be going, and any of the dungeons. So any dungeons that you struggle with, Armans will be able to help you in that spot. And he brings something a lot different than some of your other champions that you currently have. So he's a strictly control champion. He's going to be very good in the arena as well. Definitely a 60 for this account. And then everybody else, I would just pretty much hold off. So 6-star the Xenomorph. He does have the big blessing, which is going to help you out. And then 6-star the Armans would be my choice. I do see some +4s empowered epics here. I hope you filled out your faction guardians before empowering any of them. Let's just double check what you have that are not built. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the rest of the champions, I'm totally okay with leaving them unbuilt. Noct is interesting as well, but I think Armans, Xenomorph make the most sense at this point. Yeah, for the least amount of resources, for the highest level of impact, they seem fine. In terms of overall gearing, probably gear Xenomorph maybe in some kind of support build with accuracy. You don't need to spend the damage on him, although he does benefit from damage stats. For Armans, you just want him super fast with good accuracy, and then you want the masteries to go down to probably Eagle Eye, so he gets more accuracy out of that. And then these 3 are damage dealers, and then Mikey, you could build him for damage, but I would probably just prefer like a support build. You need accuracy on him. You need him to go faster. Because he's a support champion, he lands debuffs. You need him to land the debuffs before your damage dealers attack. So at the very least, you need him to be faster than Leonardo and Alice, for example. So at least 230 on him. And I imagine he's going to be in your clan boss team. Alice is probably going to get subbed out for Xenomorph for your clan boss team, for example. Let's check out some of your progress in other areas, actually. Iron Twins, mid-level. It's kind of expected. Not quite 20 yet on the Ice Golem. 21 on Spider. Pretty good. Could go 20. 20 on Spider. That's interesting. Alaz would be interesting here as well. Because he brings block damage, right? He brings block damage, and he's negative affinity against 20. So he can just soak up all the hits. Yeah, Alaz would be an interesting choice. Dragon 25, cool. Can he do hard? Stage 1, not bad. Okay. Stage 1, Xenomorph. Yeah, 6-star Xenomorph would be great. You do need some kind of support champion. So I do see Rector here. Rector, I wouldn't mind 60ing as well because you're probably going to get some good value out of her because you will be using her for like Hydra teams and stuff like that. And I don't really see another reviving champion on your account. I guess this one, Dawn Caller, but Rector's probably better because Rector does bring the Veil, which is really good. AoE decreased defense. You do have Stagnite. Stagnite's pretty good for some spots with decreased speed as well. But the against the dragon, yeah, Xenomorph's going to be really, really strong against dragon. Any kind of poisons are going to be really good here. Okay, let's check out the other dungeons. Fire Knight. 18 for the farm. Allure at 50. Yeah, you guys start making some of these 60s. It's just going to make life a little bit easier, a little bit more consistent in some of these dungeons. Allure seems fine. Sand Devil is going to be quite difficult, especially in the beginning. So not too bothered by it here. Phantom Shogun, that's fine. Like mid-level for these dungeons, totally fine. Checking out your Allure here. A little bit on the slow side, a little bit low on the accuracy. You can definitely cut the crit rate and just add like a smidge of accuracy, but once you get the banner, you're probably good to go. I see pretty low on the accessories. Most of your gearbox is not rolled up, so that's this is just something that just requires time. You gotta roll up some of this gear just so you can get some better builds. And obviously, to make some silver, you just sell off some of this stuff as well. Easy way to do like quick gear cleanse. I guess you've been doing this because most of these pieces are already gone. I mean, after this, you probably look for 4 stars. You're past the stage where 4 stars are going to be useful. I would say up to about level 10 or 12 is when 4 stars start phasing out. As soon as you start getting 5 stars, and as soon as you can farm 6-star stages, like the 4 stars are just very useless. So you can kind of see here, there's 200 pieces that are 4-star. You probably get rid of those. 5 stars. 5-star rare pieces in offsets, like this is all gone. You know what I mean? You can just cleanse it all off. And then you have 6 stars here. 6 stars. Yeah, there's some key pieces for 6-star. Like for example, you can use offset pieces, like for example, 6-star speed boots. 6-star speed boots. You got a couple here. These are very important because obviously 6-star speed boot gives you the best speed. Like this is a really nice boot for a level 61 account. You got speed on a righteous set, so that's really good. But just something to look out for. Also crit damage, 6-star gloves, very important, especially early on. Looking for speed and crit rate, ideally as the substats here. This Savage glove is totally usable because it has crit rate on it already. Slayer, nice. Oh, this is decent. Has crit rate. Yeah, but no perfect gloves. But still, the 6-star crit damage glove is very important for these early accounts. But you gotta get rolling on some of these things, right? So you can make some proper builds, make some better builds for the content that you're gonna be tackling. I think with what you have, level 20 for all the dungeons seem relatively reasonable. For Ice Golem, I noticed it's a little bit on the lower side. You do have a 1-minute stage at 16. For Ice Golem, poisons work pretty good. So somebody like Xenomorph would be quite strong in this area. Ezio would probably be pretty good for this area too. You do have a couple poisoners, right? Like you have Ezio, you have Nishak, you have this guy, Stock, you have Tomb Lord. This guy's really good as well for Ice Golem. So early Ice Golem is not going to be an issue for you. Obviously, hard Ice Golem is going to be quite difficult. But you want to get at least to stage 20 on all of these dungeons, just because it's the most efficient stage to tackle for most events. And then after that, you have the Fire Knight. Stage 20 is going to be tough for most early game accounts because the common champion that is good for Fire Knight is Allure and Royal Guard, and both of them are blue. So blue affinity versus Royal Guard is going to be versus the Fire Knight. It's going to be tough on 20 because he's Force affinity. I do see a Royal Guard here. He's going to be helpful, but basically Royal Guard's here for damage and decreased speed. You can definitely look for a decreased speed champion in your account. Let's see here. You do have Stagnite. Stagnite's a great shout for this dungeon. He's positive affinity, and then he brings a decreased speed on the A1 with the decreased defense AoE. So he can be very useful as there as well. I do see Scylla Drakes. I don't know how you feel about Scylla Drakes, but Scylla Drakes is a great carry, especially in wave-based content. But there's a lot of power creep going on now, and Scylla Drake's just not that great anymore. So, for example, as soon as you get Armans going, you probably don't need Syl anymore because Armans brings way more control than Syl. But she does bring healing and a revive, but so does Rector Draft, for example, and Rector Draft is an epic. So perhaps some options here for decreased speed option for the Fire Knight. But running Allure against the Force Affinity Fire Knight is not unheard of. And is definitely doable, but I definitely recommend a level 60 Allure to go into here as well. So I did mention the empowerments. Make sure you fill out your faction guardians first before you do the empowerments. So I noticed that some of your faction guardians are not full. So definitely fill them up. I'm not going to do that here because it might mess up some of your builds or something, but definitely fill these faction guardians up before empowering your champions. So just a quick note there. I noticed, for example, your Geomancer was filled up. Let's check out your Allure. So your Demon Spawns are filled up. So your Allure is +4. That makes sense. So yeah, I see a lot of pulls. I see a lot of champion pulls here. So that's probably where all the money went. But that's only the first step. Getting the champion is only the first step. All right, what else? I see a lot of 50s. 50s are fine. They're going to help you out in faction wars and stuff like that. Let's check out what else is going to be really good here as a 50. I mean, Vogoth's solid. I see you're building him up. Ursula's good too. You're going to need her for faction wars. Daithi is going to be really good. Eventually, you can build him up. Eventually, especially good for faction wars. Somebody like even Gorgrab can be okay for faction wars and stuff like that. Eventually, you're going to have to make some of these champions 60 as well. Like I mentioned, Allure, you're probably one of your top 60s coming up. But Xenomorph, Armans would be my top 60s. Ugo's another good 60 as well because she's going to be useful in your Hydra teams for a long time. Stag Knight, Rollguard, these are good 60s that you'll use in lots of different areas as well. Creoldin is also very good as an epic. And then you're building up towards Mikage and all that stuff. So lots of choices here. You got a lot of choices here. Let's see what else you're working with in terms of overall progress. Like I said, Arbiter missions, take a peek at your Arbiter missions if you're trying to progress. And if you're just looking for something to do, look at your Arbiter missions, see what you need to do. Can you do the mission while getting points in another event? So for example, you have a Gear Hunters event happening tomorrow. Maybe you want to bang out, the Dragon's Lair, right? Maybe you want to bang out some Dragon's Lair. Maybe you want to do some Minotaur while CBC is happening. Maybe you want to do some Fire Knight while the Gear Hunters open Spider's Den, for example, right? So you just want to start banging these out. You don't want to leave these hanging around all the time because an Arbiter is definitely going to help you out, right? Arbiter is a great champion for an account like this that just, still starting out into the game, right? So you're in silver for classic arena. You definitely want to get up to gold arena. Now, the big thing here is that you probably want to set like a proper defense if you're climbing up. And you definitely want to hit gold because you get more points that way, right? But I imagine that you probably just don't have a great account or gear to tackle some of this stuff. What I would say is Leonardo goes here in the front because when he takes damage first, he will do his big attack or whatever. Weird that you bring Rector and not your mythical champion. Alaz is amazing. And because he's a mythical, he already has that like built-in advantage from not getting locked out and all that stuff. Something like this, unfortunately. We can take a quick peek at your builds, see if we can actually improve them. And then we'll try to throw together a couple champions here so that you can have a better time playing in the classic arena, because it's really important. You just got to do this, make it quick, make it enjoyable. But yeah, let's see what we can do. All right, we're going to do a quick update here on his Leonardo. We're going to give him an extra 20 crit damage and an extra 400 defense in exchange for 11 speed. His speed's not super important for him because he does have his stone skin to help keep him alive. But this build's going to give him quite a bit more damage. We'll save his initial build just in case he wants to keep it, and then we will go with his new build here. So yeah, pretty good upgrade in terms of overall damage. Let's jump into his other champions and see what we can do there as well. There's a big problem here for any kind of PvP build is that he doesn't have any stone skin. To be expected, but definitely limits what we can do in terms of overall gear. All right, so we're gonna make sure we save his original build here, but we do have a updated build here for him. Let's swap it into the game. So there's a pretty big damage boost here, same speed, but he's getting 60 more crit damage and 250 more defense. So it's a pretty significant bump in terms of overall damage here. He does have to level up this Allure glove to 60. Now, it is taking a glove from Allure, and Allure is one of his main champions, but honestly, this glove doesn't really provide her with too much benefit other than 5 speed. You can find another 6-star glove to put onto her, and she'll still work in the same way. So I think this build looks pretty good. It does take damage away from the rat, but I don't think the rat is a main champion for him. So there we go. We got the Alaz here. It's going to be doing some damage, and you can level this up on the next gear enhancement event. So this Alice here, total stats look okay. No accuracy, so you're not going to get any of the benefits of this lockout. But just based on the gear that you have, you just don't have, like, you don't have a single accuracy banner. You don't have any pinpoint gear. It's just, yeah, it's just not viable right now to add that much accuracy if you want to keep with damage. So maybe choosing one or the other kind of makes sense here for Alice. I think for this build, it's okay. You're missing 5 crit rate. I don't know why. You don't need this. Like, you're sacrificing quite a bit of stats by using attack-based damage amulet just for some 5 speed. So I would just replace that and then put in a crit damage amulet. So at least she can kind of hit hard, right? We have it. Do we even have one? Let's see. Crit damage. Oh, maybe you don't have one. Let's see. Chronophage. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. I think there's no other one. This one's slightly better because it has accuracy, but something like this, you get a bit more damage, but you lose a little bit of speed. Alice the Wanderer, it's probably not bad, but you're still missing 5 crit rate here, which is a little bit disappointing. You could add it maybe if you roll crit rate here, I guess, but this build seems to be okay. But you're sacrificing all the accuracy on her for her to do damage, which is not ideal. So, but just some pointers here. We did fix up the Leonardo build a little bit. We did fix up the Alaz build a little bit here as well. And then, like I said, build up your Armans, build up your Xenomorph. I'd say Geomancer is perfectly fine. We did fix up the Michelangelo here a bit. He's the fastest one with a little bit of accuracy to land some stuff. Let's bring these guys out into battle and see how well they can perform. Yeah, I mean, sure, let's just full auto, see what happens. Be interesting to see. Obviously, it's not the craziest team, not the craziest competition, but we have a 240 speed Michelangelo, which is, went first actually. So that kind of sucks. The buff steel there sucks. Oh, nice. We got this buff strip from Leo. Leo's gonna carry here a lot. And Alice actually does hit okay hard. Does actually hit okay. Try again. These are always fun when you just, use what you got. No OP, no meta champions. But I mean, Leonardo's pretty OP. He is pretty strong. There you go. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. He's plowing through. Plowing through. All right. At least you're able to, like, maybe do some farming, right? And that's kind of like the key here. This time we didn't go first, so it's a little bit of a bummer. Let's see what we can do here. Oh no! Oh no, Leo's dead. Oh no, everybody's dead. Oh, that's a bit of a bummer. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we have no control on this team, so it kind of sucks. 275k team power because of the mythical champion. So we couldn't do it there. Let's see about this guy. Yeah, we have no control champion. So this is where the Armans really comes into play, right? The Armans can go first. You can do what you need to do, control the champions and all that. Yeah, the block buffs here is a big pain. Good news is pretty much everyone on this team can kind of do some damage, right? Do a little bit of damage. Dead. Okay. Oh, that sucks. The last die too. I think we got this one. There we go. Yeah, we got this one. Okay. And I think for Leonardo, you definitely want Lightning Cage. So you want to change this to Lightning Cage. But Heaven Cast is kind of okay for now. You could take Lightning Cage just to protect his buffs. Yeah, this is really important. The Stone Skin, really, really important. And yeah, let's check out your tag team arena here. I know it's going to be pretty weak. Yeah, it looks like you're going to be in the lowest tier. You just don't have enough champions to basically, yeah, you just don't have enough champions to make 3 teams. But you can make maybe 2 good teams. You can make maybe 2 good teams and then, just forfeit the last one. But definitely climbing out of the gutter here in, in tag teams really important. Picking up the Ancient Shard, for example. Drexar, this account might be past Drexar, but Drexar is still pretty useful to work on. Clan Shop, you do have some gold here. I would definitely focus maybe on picking up some energy. Energy will help you. And then probably your Carl would be the priority over Yannicka. So make sure you buy these whenever you can. So whenever you can, just buy these up so you get the champion. You can also get the champions for points. Save them in your fragment summon and then pull them during a champion chase for some points. Let's check out some of your boss teams here. Clan boss is going to be the most important part where your brand new account is going to be needing help. Looks like you're just tackling brutal difficulty. Your clan's stuck on brutal difficulty. You definitely want a clan that can grow with you. Brutal, you only need 21 million damage and you're at 35. So you should be trying to hit Nightmare at the very least. So I would definitely recommend going into a new clan and finding a clan that's more suitable for you, at least a Nightmare clan, so you can start testing out some Nightmare keys, maybe 2 key Nightmare and stuff. This team looks pretty good. I would say overall it looks pretty good. Alaz probably comes out for maybe Xenomorph. You need a decreased attack. I think Mikey does bring decreased attack. Just want to double check. But he does bring Leech. Yes, decreased attack. So Mikey's going to be really good for that. Mikey, Leo, Xenomorph, Geo, and then 1 support champion, and then you should be pretty good. So probably Rector Draft. She does bring backup, decreased attack, Veil, healing, revive. She doesn't really bring much else, unfortunately. Yeah, she doesn't really bring much else. Is Alaz going to be better than her? Increased defense. I mean, Leo brings increased defense already. Block damage on all allies. This could be useful. I don't know if it's going to be better than like a revive heal. Hard to say. So Alaz or Rector, one of those two. But yeah, Xenomorph comes in. It's going to be pretty good with the poisons, lots of damage and stuff. But yeah, I think that's going to be your clan boss team for at least a little bit of time. Hydra. Can you do... Yes, you're doing pretty good. For normal difficulty, you got 32 million on 1 key. That's really good. And yeah, you definitely need a clan to start tackling hard. So if you can do 1 key hard and then 2 key normal with the rest, you're good. You're good for now, right? You just keep farming, get Mithrala, get those gear, stone skin gear, protection gear, and all that. Chimera is going to be probably really difficult for you. 42 million on 2 keys. Is that top chesting? Oh yeah, that's more than top chesting. Yeah, so you need to spread out some of your teams here, right? So take your teams, do normal difficulty, do as high as you can, right? And your team and your clan's not tackling hard difficulty yet. So again, just something to look out for. You need to find a clan where you can grow into, not where you're at the cap. Otherwise, you're just not getting the maximum rewards that you could be getting. But sometimes people are okay with that, so it's up to you. First City, make sure you do as much as you can. You're doing normal difficulty, that's fine. Do as much as you can. Your roster is pretty limited, so you're not going to be able to do much. Siege, do whatever you can. Grim Forest, normal difficulty. Yeah, make sure you're progressing through this. Like even your account could probably do some of the normal difficulty stuff. And the gear is good. So make sure you get enough coins to get the gear and stuff. Get the vendor chests at the end of the month. And yeah, just do whatever you can. This is just free resources and the gear is good. So make sure you do it. Do it every day. Some general tips. Do whatever you can and leave the hard content until later in the month, because you're going to be stacking up stats and all that. So your champions will be stronger. And then you can tackle the harder content later on in the month. So something to look out for, guys. Yeah, the other thing I noticed for your arena team is that you really want to benefit from a speed lead. You just don't really have that many speed leads on your account right now, but the one that stands out to me is Armand. So I would say 100%, 6-star Armands, probably pretty soon. He's going to be one of the top ones that you 6-star, but I already mentioned that already. But he's definitely going to be really, really helpful for you, just for arena, making it a lot more enjoyable, for example. And just for interest's sake, I did put the fastest gear on your account on your Armands, and it comes out to 282 speed. Now your Armand's not fully maxed out, so when he's maxed out, he's going to gain a bit more base speed. So right now he's 103. But yeah, he's going to be just shy of 300 speed. That's going to be really helpful just to make things a little bit quicker and just, a little bit easier for you to climb and stuff. But another thing is you need to start rolling up some of this gear. Yes, it's time intensive. Yes, it's no fun. But you're not getting the most out of your account if you just don't have gear to build up your champions with, right? You just need better builds. So you got to spend some time rolling up some of this gear. And then you'll get some better builds out of it for sure. So, and in terms of blessings and things like that, I think working towards things like Brimstone is going to be important. So like I said, Cruelty on Geomancer, you probably want Brimstone on Michelangelo as long as he has accuracy. Alice, Banner, I mean, Banner's kind of okay. She doesn't have accuracy, so she's not going to land Brimstone for you. You could take something like Reaper for some additional damage. Leo, like I said, Lightning Cage is probably going to be the best one. Heaven Cast not bad, but I'll let you change it to Lightning Cage. Armands, yeah, look for a soul for Armands. If you got 1-star soul, pick it up. It's going to give him some nice HP. Xenomorph, 5-star Brimstone, I highly recommend. It's going to be 60% chance to land that smite debuff, which is really, really important. And then just focus in on some of your key champions with the gearing. I noticed a lot of your gear is all over the place. So you had, gear pieces everywhere. I did take some pieces from some random champions, so sorry about that. Make sure you replace some of those pieces. But some of these builds, they don't really make a lot of sense. For example, like, I guess Nox just not a champion that you use very often, but he lands debuffs like this. Sleep and poisons, and decrease accuracy. For a champion like this, you need accuracy on him to land anything. So if you didn't know, for anything that has this red box, like these red status effects, in order for you to apply them, you need accuracy on the champion. So if you know that, then you have to build with accuracy. But if you don't want the status effects, then you don't need accuracy. So previously, Michelangelo had no accuracy. So he was not landing decreased defense. He's not landing the stun. He's not landing the leech or decreased attack, right? So you need accuracy to land it. And how much accuracy you need depends on what level you're tackling, right? For example, dungeon level 20, you probably need about 200. For Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, you need about 230, right? So you need to know what to gear for, and not necessarily just build them with kind of random stuff, right? So, for example, this rat had no accuracy, 76 accuracy. He's not main champion for you, I can tell, but you need accuracy to land this stuff, right? What else? Yeah, just something to look out for. This Armand's not going to do anything. Like, this is the build you put on him. I don't know if it's just whatever gear, but he has 100 accuracy. It's not going to work. So this is the big thing that you need to look out for. Allure barely works with 200 accuracy. And yeah, Ugo barely working, 195. Stagnite 200. Like 200 accuracy will be fine for up to level 20. But yeah, just something to look out for. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this kind of account walkthrough, account review for Ragul here. Hopefully it was important information for some of you guys. Hopefully it was helpful. Let me know what you guys think about Ragul's account. Do you guys have any tips for him? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys are interested in these type of takeovers, contact me through Discord and we can go through some of the details there. I do offer 1 free takeover per month. I do have a channel for applications, so make sure you guys hit that up. But if you guys need immediate service, just hit me up in the DMs and we can go through the details. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching until the end. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day. And I'll see you guys in the next one.